again, students. My name is Caroline. You know, as a student, isn't group work one of the most difficult challenges? Imagine your teacher has asked the class to break up into groups to come up with a class constitution listing the rules everyone will follow this year. It starts off fine, but opinions begin to differ, debates break out, and let's face it, some people just have a really hard time working in groups. Now imagine having a much larger group of people, and not only that, imagine if it was not a list of class rules you were asked to work on, but on an entire system which embodies the principles of a government for a country whose citizens just had close friends and relatives die in a brutal war for independence. Oh yeah, talk about some pressure there. Lots of heated debate before that puppy gets finished, to be sure. Somebody brew the coffee. And there may be no more of an important and lasting debate in American history than the one which took place before the Constitution was ratified. In this lesson, we will identify and define federalism, and we will analyze the core arguments of Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. All ready? Yup, here we go. Alert! To ratify means to sign or give formal consent to a treaty, contract, or agreement, making it officially valid. And rewind! Let's review a past term. Here it is. Federalism refers to a system of government in which the division of government into state and federal levels in which power is divided and shared between the two. Modern American politics today, in many ways, is marked by the same argument that took place back in revolutionary times. At its core, the debate addresses the question, who should be given more power, the national government or the state governments? Well, in order to see how this question was answered back then, let's study some excerpts from primary sources. Alert number 2, we're going for it. Here it is. Primary sources are first-hand accounts and original documents of a topic. Typically, these are from people connected to the topic. Some examples are newspaper articles, diaries, photos, essays, and government publications. Let's get started. So the Constitutional Convention resulted in a newly constructed constitution, but it wasn't an easy road to ratification. The way in which we understand the original intentions and limitations of the Constitution is by studying the Federalist and Anti-Federalist debates which took place during its ratification. As the debates marched on, politicians found themselves increasingly split into two distinct factions, the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. Alert! Alert! This is an alert for a new word. A faction is a small, organized dissenting group within a larger one, especially in politics. The Federalists faction argued for the ratification of the Constitution as it was presented. The Anti-Federalists faction argued against ratification as it stood. These political factions formed over whether to ratify the Constitution as it was or to add a Bill of Rights. These two factions separated from one another due to differing opinions on the nature of power relations and on how the federal government should deal with these relations in the most appropriate way. Some of the questions that arose from the debate are, what is the federal government's role? What issues should be resolved by the federal government, and what issues should be resolved between or within the states? What limitations would be necessary for ensuring the key principles of democracy? Federalism is not a clear distribution of power and responsibility between the central or federal government and the regional state governments. Power relations have changed over time, as with everything else, as the society itself has changed. We will look into these changes in the next unit, but in general, the Federalists argued for a strong central or national government, and the Anti-Federalists for stronger state governments and a weaker national government. Working in groups is tough. Sometimes you have major differences of opinion, and that slows the process of the project down. Just like working with classmates on a group project for a class constitution, the framers had major differences of opinion, so much so that they broke off into separate groups. However, Though they were so distant in opinion, they still needed to find a way to get to common ground and create a functioning government. In order to do so, however, both sides would need their voices to be heard and eventually find ways to reach common ground. The next few lessons will explore both sides of these arguments. We start with the Federalist side. Time for a recap of today's lesson. Today, we defined federalism as a system of shared powers between the national and states' governments. But this type of system from the very beginning created debate and compromise. The first debates led to the first two political factions. Thanks for joining us today. This is Caroline signing off. Have a nice day, and remember, vote, debate, and participate.
Hey!